Hello. I wanted to talk about the crux of the matter, resistant thought patterns. Specifically, do we still have, or I still have 2,000 a day? Or are we getting better?
Give us more.
Resistant thought patterns. Sometimes I'll have thoughts that come in where I don't really feel that I have to take a set point to see how I'm feeling, because I think I'm feeling all right, just like a weird thought that my dog's going to get run over or I'm going to go through a red light. Not a lot of them, but they just maybe come and go. And where do they come from, and how would one deal with them?
Well, most important, every thought that you receive, whether you get it from non-physical, whether you get it from drivers that are driving near you, whether you get it from your own conscious awareness, from something that you're observing, doesn't matter where it comes from. The thing that is important to acknowledge is that you were on the vibrational wavelength of it, or you wouldn't get it. Because thoughts don't penetrate you. Thoughts don't assert themselves to you. Thoughts are called to you by your vibrational offering.
It feels like all of a sudden it'll come in, and I'll say to myself, well, where did that come from?
Well, if it is something that feels wonderful as it comes, then never mind where it came from, just milk it and benefit from. If it comes to you and it feels uncomfortable, then never mind where it came from, just distract yourself from it.
Let it go.
Because when you try to figure out where it came from, you're looking in that direction. And the longer you look in that direction, then the more emphatic it is. And so the good ones, you want to look in the direction of it and milk it. And the ones that don't feel good, then release them. Sometimes Esther will have something wash through her that is a little unsettling, and she'll actually feel a feeling of relief when she recognizes what it was that prompted it. But we're not really big encouragers of trying to monitor thoughts like that. There are just too many of them. It is ever so much more efficient to just tend to your emotional center. So here's the way that would play out. You could think a thought, have a feeling response to it, and then contemplate the thought. That's thinking and feeling. Or you could deliberately think a thought to deliberately conjure a feeling. That's deliberate thinking and feeling. So you use your emotions to be aware of what's just coming to you. In other words, you are so multidimensional, and there's so many different facets to your life. And on some subjects, you are vibrating on the emotional scale in a better place, and in some subjects, you're vibrating on the emotional scale in a less good place. And so rather than trying to sort it all out, we're encouraging you to just be more aware of the way you feel, and most significantly, really care about how you feel. We would begin every day and many segments through the day by saying, I really want to feel good. Nothing's more important than that I feel good. And then we would follow that up by saying, segment by segment, I'm going to do the best I can to feel as good as I can under these conditions. Sometimes your flight is delayed and you're sitting on an airplane in a hot cabin longer than you want to. And that's not the time to be looking for thoughts of ecstasy or utter appreciation for the airline that you have concluded really doesn't care very much about you. It cares more about the bottom line. Otherwise, it would do something to enhance your comfort. And so as you're sitting there under those conditions, we do not encourage you to try to get in that high-flying, good-feeling place. What we do encourage you to do is reach for the best feeling thought that you can under those conditions, because those conditions are where you are. And if you're trying to reach for a thought that these conditions defy, then what happens is you count yourself as a failure. In other words, you're trying to do something that these conditions don't really allow you to do. And what we want you to do is just begin to get your sea legs by feeling as good as you can feel under this condition and feeling as good as you can under this condition, which translates into the situation that you are offering here. So the thought comes to you and it doesn't feel good. What's the best feeling thing that you could do under those conditions? Try to find a thought that feels better, not try to analyze where that thought came from. There was a time when we referred to your emotions as warning bells. There was a time that we referred to your emotions in a more significant sense as true guidance. And all of that is still true. In other words, you can feel the vibration of where you are, and it does give you guidance. But we want so much for you to begin to recognize that your source is calling you toward what you want. And it's not only what you wanted when you came forth into this body, which your source remembers, but it's all of the enhancement and added to pieces that you have amended that desire with every step along the way. You get to decide how much and how big and how far and how long. In other words, you get to decide all of the significant details of everything and everyone with whom you interact. And this universe will so dramatically accommodate you. We want so much for you to hear it that you just have to let go of the resistance. And the way you let go of the resistance is by wanting to feel good. And by wanting to feel good, if you really want to feel good, if we have finally once and for all convinced you that that's all that matters, your vibrational beings first and foremost, everything that you see of a physical nature, of a rendezvous nature, of a material nature, everything that you see that you call real life experience is only a reflection of your vibrational offering. And your emotions, how you feel, is everything about your key to that. In other words, where you are in vibrational proximity to who you are, that's everything. And so when you say, I had a thought and I didn't like the way the thought felt is everything. And so right then, if we were in your shoes, we would look at how that thought felt, and we would acknowledge how that thought feels, and we would acknowledge where it is on the emotional scale, and we say, this thought feels like anger. Is there anything that I can find that feels like less anger? We wouldn't say, it's wrong for me to have that thought, or I'm afraid that this angry thought will negatively create, or it's your fault that I have this angry thought, or I'm not happy with this angry thought, or I don't usually have angry thoughts, or I don't like to have angry thoughts. In other words, that's just spinning around in the muck. We would say, I've got this angry thought, can I find a less angry thought? And if you are diligent, and if you are willing to do the work, in just a matter of days, enough circumstances will have come up, and you will have cleared your vibration enough that you'll be in such a different, significantly different point of attraction that those things that formerly you could have attracted that would have made you feel that way are out of your vibrational range, because you used a conversation with this person to clean it up a little, and a conversation with that person to clean it up a little bit, and you watched a television program that stirred you up, and then you laid in your bed and cleaned it up a little further, and then you got a letter from somebody and you cleaned it up, and then you got a bill from somebody and you cleaned it up, and then somebody looked at you screwy and you cleaned it up. And so you've had all of these experiences with all of these different facets of your experience, and you cleaned it up and cleaned it up and cleaned it up and cleaned it up and cleaned it up. Before you know it, you're over here, not over here. And when you've moved that far, when you've moved even the slightest little bit vibrationally, what happens is law of attraction now is giving you a whole different set of rendezvous points, of rendezvous people, of circumstances and events. And now you're more likely to feel better all the time, but still you could feel better still. And so now your range has shifted, and now a new set of contrasting experiences is causing you to add to the clarity of what you are wanting more clearly. So you never reach the place where you are not aware that you could be in a better feeling place. But it's not long. We would say that any of you who decide to do this could work for 30 days. We're not kidding you about this. If you every morning say, I care how I feel, and it is my desire to feel good, and several segments through the day, as different segments take on different faces, you would say, now what is the best feeling that I can find under these conditions? You would, within 30 days, move yourself so significantly and substantially. We don't mean just a jump occasionally. We mean you will have significantly moved your set point on so many of the important subjects in your life experience that you will be, to those who are looking at you, a new person with a new point of attraction. In other words, those things that you want, they'll come right in. That thing that's not been coming, it will be right there. That's just the way that it works. When you get yourself in sync, little by little by little by little by little, and that's all it is. Is that surprising to you? That's all the work is. Just to feel a little better now, 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 a little better now. That's all that it is. You just feel a little better now. And as you feel a little better now, you won't even notice that you've shifted, but pretty soon there's a sort of cumulative effect. And one day you look around and you say, things are going very well for me. Your smile becomes more genuine. Your appreciation of others becomes more genuine. Your recognition of the things that are coming to you becomes more genuine. You begin to live the life as you really are, as source energy in this physical body. And then you're not nitpicking the small stuff anymore. Then what you're doing is deciding what you want. Then you've got your power back. And getting your power back puts you in the place that you're not riding herd on where you are every minute, in the sense that I don't want to get it wrong. It's that it's so much fun to be here than here. I'm not doing it because I'm trying to fix things that are broken. I do this because it's just more fun. Kids run because it's more fun than walking. And kids holler because it's more fun than speaking softly. In other words, look around you at the evidence of those who are tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and mimic their behavior. The other night, Esther went to dinner. She wanted to do something to be fun with the grandchildren, and so she wore 2 different earrings. She rolled one cuff way up and left one cuff down. She wore 2 different shoes. She limped down the hallway with one high heel and one tennis shoe. Just determined that she was going to find some way of playing in some more significant way. In other words, looking with every opportunity that you find to put yourself in an even better feeling place. And you know, the kids weren't even that interested. It was hard to tell that the earrings were that different. And it was really weird that Esther would wear 2 different shoes. What was she thinking? And the fact that one sleeve was rolled down and the other one up, that happens to Esther all the time. So that looked rather normal. And so Esther did not make much of an impact with them. But oh, did she have fun trying to figure out all of these things that she would do. She even had Jerry in on it. And so just look for ways to feel good, and feel as good as you can feel, as often as you can feel it. And don't sweat the small stuff, and don't worry as a fleeting thought goes through your head. Just say, so what? It's fleeting. If it comes often, deal with it. But if it's fleeting, it's not a big deal. That was a long answer to a short question, but so important. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.